Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be taking a look at the best and worst episodes of Dragon's Rising and the normal Ninjago show, Masters of Spinjitzu. I'm going to be taking a look at the best and worst episodes of each one of those seasons. So let's get started. Now, for this one, it is special. As you guys can see, some of the IMDb reviews that I have found have tied best or worst episodes. So we have Season 1, Episode 3, Snakebite, and Season 1, Episode 1, Rise of the Snakes, tied in worst. They have a 7.3 review each, which is still quite good. And the best episode, which I definitely agree with TikTok, which is a really good episode because Zane, of course, unlocks his true potential, which really adds something to the main story. So I quite agree with the Season 1 rankings of IMDb. For Season 2, I think the best episode and the worst episode are both fairly accurate to how good or how bad they really are. So for the worst episode, it's Season 2, Episode 2, Pirates vs. Ninja. I think this episode is not bad, but the pirates are not the most interesting characters, and I don't really like them in this episode according to other episodes I'm talking of. For the best episode, it is the last episode of Season 2, which I definitely agree with. This is actually when Ninjago could have ended, but Season 3 is fittingly called Rebooted. So let's get into Season 3. Now for Season 3, I quite agree with these ratings, but there is not that much to go off because there are only 8 episodes in this season, and the worst episode is probably understandable, but even though there's not that much to choose from, Season 3, Episode 3, Blackout is not really advancing the plot, and it's a tiny bit boring. So I think that's the main reason, but it's definitely not a bad episode, and there's worse episodes coming up. Stay tuned. For the best episode, this is literally peak Ninjago. I think the Titanium Ninja is a great episode, and I think it really ended off the season at a low. Watch the episode to understand why. There will be no spoilers in this video, but I really enjoyed that episode, so that's my spoiler-free review. So I think we'll move on to Season 4 now. As for Season 4, which is actually one of my favourite Ninjago seasons, regarding what we are getting now, which we'll talk about later, but I quite agree with these, except the worst episode. Now, it's because it's not really the worst, because 8 is still quite good. I think it's a good episode. It's just, I agree with the 10th episode a lot more, which is the final episode of the season, with a very good 9 out of 10 rating. And I would agree with that. It's just I would not agree that the worst episode is the worst. Now, for the plots of these episodes, the 10th one is quite complex. The 5th one, Season 4, Episode 5, it's interesting to see Nia in disguise, we could say, because that's the main plot of the episode. So that's interesting. It's just the story doesn't seem very advanced compared to other episodes. So comment down below if you agree with that, but I certainly do agree with my ideas. But if you have more, I'd love to hear them. I think this is quite an accurate representation of the best and worst episodes of Season 5. So for the worst episodes, I would not agree with the Kingdom Come episode, Season 5, Episode 6. In my opinion, that is one of the worst Ninjago episodes, worse than the actual worst one. I really dislike this episode. I am not going to talk about why, maybe in a future video, but I just really dislike that episode. For season 5, episode 7, I think it's really good episode. It just doesn't beat the Cursed World Part 2, which is an amazing episode. Sticks and Stones, I think it's a pretty good episode, honestly, because you get introduced to Sticks and Kai's non-existent fear of water in later seasons, which is a bit surprising but really interesting to know in this season. But for the best episode, I think it's an amazing way to finish out the season, and I think the Preeminent is an amazing villain. So that's about it for the spoiler-free review. So now let's move on to season 6. Now, for season 6, I honestly dislike most of the episodes. I like a lot of season 6 itself, but the best episode, I hate the ending of season 6. I can say that and I know that a lot of people agree with me. I'm not going to say why I hate it. You guys can just watch season 6, but I just really dislike how it ends. For season 6, episode 1, Infamous, it's just a boring episode. It's more filler. It's fine, and it shows how Ninjago has evolved. It's really not for me. So let's move on to season 7. Now, this is another season of Ninjago that is not the most popular, and I understand why. This is also the final season in which the ninja have their old designs. For the worst episode, it's not a bad episode, it's just there's so much of season 7 that is filler, and I really dislike filler. I feel like I like episodes that advance the plot. And of course, the best episode, it really does advance the plot. It's just a strong dislike for season 7, which doesn't make me put it in my best episodes. So I'm not saying this is the worst episode on this list, but it's definitely, these are not the best set of episodes that we have. So I still think they're decently good, but just not for me. Now we went from one of my least favourite seasons to one of my favourite seasons, which is the first part of the Oni trilogy, the first season with the new Ninjago movie designs. I think a lot of people didn't like them. I personally like them way more than the old ones. I think they're a lot better. For the least popular or least liked episode, I think it's really not that bad. You get introduced to the Paris. It's just it gets a bit like, you really do get better from season 8 as you continue. So I would not call it my favourite. It is still really good. It's definitely not a bad episode. And for the best episode, the finale of season 8, it's a masterpiece. It's one of my favourite episodes, definitely. And for me, it's almost a 10 out of 10, but we'll take a look at what a real 10 out of 10 is soon. Now for season 9, Hunted, which is another one of my favourite seasons and another one of my favourite episodes, and not the ending of the Oni trilogy. This is of course the second installment of the Oni trilogy, and honestly both episodes are great. How to Build a Dragon Great episode, I think it's really good, and it's not even filler. It does advance the plot, just not, it advances it a lot more than fillers, because of course fillers are fillers. For the best episode, Green Destiny, this is literally one of my favourite episodes of Ninjago, and it's really well made. Like, you barely know you're watching a Lego show when you're watching this one. I think Garmadon's character is handled really well in this episode, and I think it really adds something to the story to have Garmadon's character giving a warning. Now, I'd recommend watching the episode to understand what I'm talking about. So let's move on to the final installment of Masters of Spinjitzu. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to count season 10 because it's so short. Yes, season 10 episode 4 is the last episode of the season. I have no idea why they didn't make it longer or even just make it a part of season 9. I like it. I like season 10. It's just the last episode that I really enjoy. I think I'm not going to spoil season 10, but I think it wraps up Ninjago Masters of Spinjitzu really well, and I'm kind of surprised they didn't end Ninjago there, but of course they didn't. We still have a lot more to go. So for the worst episode, I agree with this. It's definitely not a bad episode, and it gives a lot of insight on Jay's feelings, which a lot of fans wanted to know. Of course, he wants to propose to Nia, which is all I'm going to be saying in this video, but I will maybe make another video theorizing what will happen in Dragons Rising for their relationship. So that's it for Master of Spinjitzu. Let's move on to Ninjago, I guess. Now, this is when Ninjago suffered the most with its lowest episode ever, and I think season 11 I think the first part of season 11, comment down below if you agree that season 11 has, of course, two parts, the fire part and the ice part. Do you think they fit together or not? I think they do, but just because they don't advance the plot, of course, of another season. Like, you need to watch season 11 if you wanted to, for example, watch season 12, which would be the ice part. So I think that makes pretty much sense in its own way. But what I would say for the worst episode, it's a terrible episode. I would not recommend watching it, at least skipping it. Questing for Quests is just not a good episode. Even the name isn't good. I really dislike this episode. For the best episode, it's of course the last episode of season 11, which is a really good episode, actually. I think it ended off well, and it adds something to Zane's character, which Zane is not my favourite ninja. He is annoying at times, and a lot of people would agree with that, but in my opinion, it really was a good episode, just not one of my favourites personally. Now, season 12 was quite a short season, and I agree with these two ratings. I really like Ninjago Confidential. I love the different, not art style, like I loved how they made it grayscale for Dire Island. I think it's a terrible episode, if I'm going to be honest, and one of my least favourites. It's definitely not that bad, but I really dislike this episode. Now, this is going to be a funny one. For the best episode, I'm going to start with that. The Son of Lily, the final episode, I really loved how they ended this season. That's what I'm going to say. For the last one, season 13, episode 9. Now, this one has a couple anime moments. Now, I don't think the anime moments are that bad. I just really think they're quite funny. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say. Here's a picture on the screen about the anime moments. I think they're funny, and I don't know about the art style, but they're certainly funny, and I don't know if they were intended to be good, but they're certainly a good laugh. Now for one of the last seasons, which is season 14. Not really one of the last ones, but anyway. So for the worst episodes more, The Gifted Jay and Uncharted, not much to say here, just average episodes. The Gifted Jay is probably the better one. Then for the best one, The Tooth of Voyager, a good way to finish off this short 4-episode season. If you count this part as of Seabound, I think that's okay, but this is the last season counter that I agree with. I think Seabound is season 15. I'll leave it at that. Now it's time to talk about this set of episodes. The best episode of season 15 is episode 20, Turn of the Tide, which is the final episode of the season, then going into the longest season ever released. Then season 15, episode 14, which is the Tell the Sphinx, or whatever its name is. I think this is a pretty good episode, honestly. I don't think it's great. It's not bad though. For the best episode, it's understandable why it's the best. It is a really good episode. Now for the final season before Dragons Rising. So this season has the most best episodes with their 8.1 ratings. I think they're pretty good episodes. I think Christopher is personally my favourite episode of Crystallize. I think it's amazing and I love seeing Garmadon back. So for the worst episodes, I hate the Ice Emperor returns. And that's pretty much all I have to say about the worst episodes, and I think I'll stick with that for now. Now for the first season of Dragons Rising. For the worst episode, we have Widely Inappropriate, season 1, episode 13. So these are both from part 2, so part 1 did not make it on this list. So Widely Inappropriate has a 6.5 rating. It's not that bad. It's interesting to see Zane's point of view on the crossroads, so that's cool. For the best episode, The Power Within, season 1, episode 20. The last episode, 8.8. I think that's pretty even. I think it's interesting to see how it all wraps up. It's just compared to other endings, because most endings are the best episodes of seasons. I don't love this episode, I don't hate it. I do think there's better in Dragons Rising, and we'll see that with the next couple seasons. So for season 2, I think it's quite interesting that the best and worst episodes are quite high up still. So the worst episode, 2 Mysterium, not a very good one, because of course, as you guys can see, Dorama is in it, and I do not love Dorama. For the last, before to last, best episode is Rising Ninja, the ending of part 1. This is without a doubt one of my favourite Ninjago episodes ever released. I think it's an amazing episode and definitely one of my favourites. Now, I've been so excited for this. This is the end, which is the Dragons Rising Season 3, the brand new season. As you guys can see, April 17th, it's literally brand new, 4 days ago, as time of recording this. I think these episodes are great, the new ones, and it's officially given us the best episode of Ninjago ever released. Season 3, episode 10, The Shatter Dragon. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but I agree with this rating. It is what... I don't know if it's the best, but I definitely think it's an amazing episode. For the worst, we have season 1 episode... Not season 1, season 3, episode 1... The Missing. This isn't a bad episode, it's pretty good. It introduces us to what the Forbidden Five really are, a group with flaws. So that's pretty much it. Like, I don't really care for the episode, I don't love it either.
I like a lot of aspects of this episode. It's not my favourite.
Well, that brought us to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was very fun, and I wanted to finish it off with 2 of these amazing photos. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys soon for the next video, which will be hopefully as exciting as this one. See you guys soon.